It feels like the night before Christmas.
It does. Better.
Yes. Let's see here. So, lots to get into. We'll dive into Bookie Brook. And I gotta tell you, fellas, I've been so excited about this Bookie Brook segment. You guys have no idea. It's gonna be unbelievable. We got our weekly pick'em. That's back. Nebraska plays a football game. We'll talk plenty a bit about that.
What's that
But
look
wrapping
for,
up.
Pepperneck? What are you giving us that stank face for?
Nobody's giving any kind of look. All
Yeah.
right.
Just pipe
All
down
I
right.
just
over
know
there.
exactly what's gonna come. Oh, look ahead, jump game spot, fucking fall behind, look ahead, fucking 2-0 fastball, count, game spot.
You know, we're gonna make a ball knower out of you one of these days, but until then, you're just a son of a gun.
Mm,
We'll get him there. No, we won't.
no,
No,
I
we'll go
refuse.
kicking and screaming
If
the
you
whole
guys
way.
know me, like you guys should know me, you know I'll never come around on this.
Yeah.
I'll die on this hill.
Well, finally put the pin in the off season. Some big news coming out of camp. Dylan Raiola named QB1. This is the most
Big surprise
surprised
there.
looks I've ever
Yeah.
seen. I mean, this is. I am happy that it played out exactly how it did. I heard some folks talking like, well, you could have just named him in the spring and got him all the reps, and yeah, probably. But I think it's nice that they gave him the opportunity to screw it up
Mhm.
instead of anointing him, before he even gets to fall camp. That way he earns it with his teammates. If AFC favorite Denver Broncos, they did the same thing with their quarterback back race, and I think that's the right move long term. But I'm super excited. It feels like this time last year, like Dylan Raiola is committed to Georgia. We believe in Jeff Sims, and just to know how different that quarterback room is today is unbelievable.
Yeah.
For the record, I still believe in Jeff Sims. So
Well, I'm glad you do because Arizona State does not. So,
listen,
I'll-
it just they
I,
couldn't get the bad tape out of their heads. That's all
I,
it is.
I think it says something that the two quarterbacks that transferred out didn't win starting jobs at their respective schools, and I think that's they say quarterback's the most important position on the field in football. When you got three or four guys that are clearly not quarterbacks,
Well,
I
if you
think
even
that,
want to take it a step further, Casey Thompson was listed as QB3 for Oklahoma, so he
and
couldn't
I
even get the
think
backup
that
job. I
I
mean,
think
different,
that more
but
so is like just because he's gonna get like a head start on his coaching career. I
mhm.
think he's gonna be like a GA next year at OU. So I mean, he's kind of just like essentially coach now, but like if something catastrophic happens, he could play. He still has eligibility.
Yeah, and very similar to Jalen Gramstad's role, where like he probably could have gone into the transfer portal and gotten an opportunity to compete at like a MAC school or whatever. I mean, as NAIA accolades are unbelievable, but he's been very vocal about wanting to be a coach and getting an opportunity to be in the quarterback room of probably the best second best, third best quarterback room in the country. It's a good place to start your coaching career.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be so much better if fucking Heinrich Harburg wasn't in there. Um, but you got what you got.
Well,
Well,
you
according to Marcus Satterfield, we're going to see a lot of Heinrich Harburg with
So
Dylan Raiola.
now he's God. Last year we were cursing his name all year, but now all of a sudden he's God, huh?
I'm just saying, when the offensive coordinator says we're going to see a lot of something,
yeah.
I feel like
Well,
that's
Tyler, here's the thing. He said we're going to see a lot of him, just not at quarterback. So
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we were right in saying that
that was my point.
he's listed as the backup quarterback, but I mean his role as fullback or tight end is well underway.
Fucking scat back.
I do got to say I think those comments aren't worth the paper that they're printed on. It feels a lot
Mm,
more like coach
mm,
gamesmanship than
mm,
Mm.
anything substantial.
mm,
Just because going into the spring they had talked about how important it is to have three quarterbacks who are prepared to go in,
Mm.
and I believe them
mm,
because last year they needed three quarterbacks to play. So
mm.
I don't know what's changed since then um, to alter that fault. And then also, if you do like Heinrich Harburg on the field a lot with Dylan Raiola, you're not going to tell the media that the week before the game. What does that
Well,
do?
you're playing UTEP, so
Hey, easy. Split household here. All
yeah.
right.
I mean, we'll always have love for UTEP, but I think there's a good chance you see Heinrich play some quarterback Saturday because we're up so much.
I yes, they are UTEP, and they're not going to be very good this year, but I do like the direction that they're moving with, the new coaching hire, the new coordinators. I like the way that they're moving things. We'll see how long it takes them, though,
Yeah,
to
they got some juice,
get
that's
that
for
Sun
sure.
Belt. Yeah,
They got
I
some
saw
juice.
that they had someone donate $5 million to redo their locker room, which is pretty cool.
Whoa.
that is sick.
You don't see that
It's a
at
big,
small schools like that too often.
yeah, it's a big first step into getting better recruits. I think start the locker room, or I guess maybe the weight room and then the locker room. I don't know, maybe flip flop, but
You
Sure.
got to have
it's
something
nice.
flashy to show the fellas.
I root for them. Just not on Saturday.
Yeah.
But after that, it's all love, baby, all love.
Hope they go 11-1 with the one loss.
Absolutely,
That'd be pretty sick.
absolutely.
Turns out UTEP
Especially
ends up
since
being our
they're
best win of the year.
our best win.
That would be tough.
Oh man,
Oh man, some awesome stuff going on. We also are now officially in week 1 of our college football dynasty. How are you fellas getting along?
I
Cruton.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not too far in, so nothing crazy there yet, but
I
excited.
think somebody said they already got a recruit. Fuck them.
What
Well, I
the
heard Brian talk about, oh, nobody better steal this 2-star prospect from me. I'm like, we're not recruiting the same guys, Brian.
Yeah,
You don't have to
dude.
worry about that.
I'm on a different level right
Yeah.
now. I bet Brandon's run 7 different dynasties with this team to
Oh,
know the strategy.
Just the
I
fact
mean,
that I
I've
have to see his stupid face as their logo pisses me off.
Oh my
Brandon
god.
Shanahan's. That's my my grand achievement.
That's enough to make the guy quit,
It's going to be hilarious when you take a new job and you leave the brand.
Well, I'll tell
Yeah,
you
what are
what.
the rules around that actually?
That's a good question. I think I don't know. I think both ways could be interesting, where we just stay in the SBC and try to see who can build up the best SBC program. But then I also think that there's an element where it's like, well, now we're competing for jobs on the
Mm,
coaching carousel. I think that's pretty interesting. Um, so I'm not exactly sure.
it'll be interesting.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, yeah. We got to get through this season first and foremost. Tyler, I want to let you. I did quit that other dynasty that was
Good.
causing me so much stress. That was awful. Such a horrible time. Seemed like a good idea at the time. I was like, oh, we'll get in. No,
Well, as long as
no.
you learn from your mistakes, that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
we learned. We learned. All right. Well, we got football here this week. UTEP. I mean, they're 28-point favorites. I do think there's something to be said that for the first time since before COVID, we get like a somewhat normal game 1 at home. Uh, Typically, an opponent that probably shouldn't compete with us. No conference games, not on the road, not in October because of a global pandemic. No thunderstorms canceling the. Well, I shouldn't get ahead of myself there, but I think that's going to be a huge boost, especially with a freshman quarterback.
Yeah,
Just
and
feels
we
like
finally get a game that's not against a fucking Big Ten opponent, right? And you have time to just ease yourself into it, figure out what works, figure out what we need to work on. Uh, it's just going to be great all around. I'm very excited for this.
I think it's just like getting back to normalcy and knowing what we know now. It's if we had Dylan Raiola for the Ireland game or even the Minnesota game last year, I think those are both W's and they're not particularly close. It's just we've had a string of some really bad quarterback play, and you know, I'm excited to see us, score some points and fly around a little bit on offense.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, obviously, like a win is the first box that needs to be checked on Saturday. What else are you guys looking for that would deem this a success?
No turnovers.
Um, that
That's exactly what I had in mind.
um, third down efficiency, red zone stuff. I'd love. Well, I wouldn't love it, but I'd like to see us hit like a couple long field goals, like 40, 45, maybe 50, just to kind of ease our minds there. Um, and I'd like to see us win in the trenches, see what that offensive line can do, see what the defensive line can do. We know what the defensive line can do, I think. Um, so just not a whole lot of question marks at offensive line, but I'd like to see them just push guys around.
That'd be great. I think that's well put. Yeah, turnovers is the big thing because really, and I got to imagine this is going to be like a light version of what this offense can be against UTEP. I mean, I wouldn't want them to bring out the whole playbook to take down the Miners right before Colorado. Uh, but so just making things as easy as possible. Just let guys get wins individually. I'd like to get some turnovers on the defensive side. Feels like this defense is due for a crazy turnover year.
I would like to
Um,
see us I think this is a stretch. I would like to see us shut out UTEP. If not, keep them under
that'd be
10.
great.
I think
Shutout
that's
would
the
be
goal. We
sweet.
averaged giving up what, like 18 or 19 a game last year, and we returned basically everybody on the defense. So I just want to see us be nasty on defense, whether the
I want.
turnovers come Saturday or not.
I wonder what that figure would look like if you removed games where teams were caught cheating.
Mm.
That probably goes down a few points at least.
Mm.
Hmm.
They get shut out. So
Did I get shut out? I mean,
fuck
how
yeah.
embarrassing would that be to get shut out one time in a season?
Yeah.
And the kicker thing is a good one. I'm really glad you brought that up. I did notice on the depth chart that there was an or there with Tristan
Mm-hmm.
Albano. Now I know he's coming back off of surgery, so it wasn't 100% healthy for camp. But I'm such a huge fan that there's competition at that position.
I almost wish there wouldn't be an or. I wish it would be one guy or the other because with the or, it's kind of like, so if Alvano misses one, is he out? Or like
What they said,
what's the point? Or like
yeah,
where's the line?
what they said was either tomorrow or Friday they're going to make a decision.
Yeah. I would like to I don't know, man, cuz it's like you can't just keep giving the same guy chances if they're missing.
Yeah,
Or it's like I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. That's such an obtuse position to say, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what it looks
Well,
like.
and you can look at other positions in football, right? Like, oh man, he didn't hit that hole very well, but he has great speed, doesn't fumble the ball, catches the ball well. Or corners, like, oh, they're not very good in man, but zoned up, or yeah, zoned up, they're pretty solid. Kicking is you either make it or you don't. There's no upside to any of
yeah.
that. It's just, did
Yeah.
you make the damn kick?
Well,
Yes or no?
and that's what I mean by it's such an obtuse position where it's like they're on the field so limitedly. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you said, at any other position, like you could come out for a series or a play or two, but kicker, it's like you have one very specific thing to do. You play 5 or 10 plays a game. It's like I don't know. I would
And
think if
it's
you miss 2 field goals, you're probably getting yanked.
and it's such a
I guess it
big
depends
deal
though, right?
because I mean their whole mantra this year has been chasing three. Well, if you just get
Mm-hmm.
a kicker, I mean it's easy to point at the quarterback play and laugh and talk about how big of a deal that is, but when it's 4th and 3 from the 25-yard line, you don't feel good about your kicker. And I was like, well, shit, now we're gonna have to toss a coin to see if we can get any points by going for it, and
Well,
it's just dominoes from there.
I might be kind of for that anyways. Fucking go for it. Fuck it.
If we're gonna get to where we want to go this year, I mean, we need to score touchdowns, not settling for three. But like you said, there are situations where we're gonna have to take our medicine and kick the field goal.
I mean, just to have that. I mean, if you're trying to be aggressive, that's one thing. But if you're doing it on your heels because you have a kicker that you don't trust, that's a totally different thing optically.
Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, such a mental thing. Like then that feeds into the kickers. Like, oh, they don't trust me to kick this, 38-yard field goal. I mean, fuck me, right? But
Yeah.
it all snowballs.
Absolutely.
It does, man. It's such a wishy-washy thing. You want to give them confidence, but it's like at the end of the day, if they're not doing their job, you got to give someone else a look. Just like any position, got to get it done.
I
Well,
get it
speaking
done.
about just like any position, we've acquired a new tight end. I saw you guys kind of discussing it today or yesterday. But I'd love to hear more on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so let me pull up. Yeah, it was set to be like the backup tight end, Mark Macway. Mac Markway.
Oh, that's
Mm.
Dumb name.
awkward.
That's a bad name. Uh, I was all in for him, but that's a silly name. But my whole thing is, yeah, I mean, it's a talented guy getting added to the team. That's always a win. I don't know if anybody actually knows if he's eligible to play this year,
I,
and if he even is eligible, then he just showed up this week, so I don't know how
I
likely that
saw
is.
on Twitter it was like up to a grades thing, which is weird. Um, but you gotta. It's hard to say a guy who like wasn't participating in our fall camp and like has probably doesn't know the plays very well is gonna play at all for
Yeah,
us. But um, anytime you grab like a 4-star from LSU, typically not a bad thing. But in the same breath, we already have 2 or 3 really good tight ends. If this kid could play, he would probably still be at LSU. So in my mind, I don't like taking LSU's leftovers. And everybody's going to point to the fact that he was a 4-star, but Eric Gilbert was a 5-star. And obviously his was more off the field stuff. But at some point, stars get you killed. If you can play, you can play. If you can't, you can't.
yeah, and I mean he did play in 12 games last year for LSU, so it's not like he's just a bench warmer. I mean, and that offense has tons of talent around it. Last year, Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman. So I think it just feels like a nice little surprise, a nice little recruiting win before the season starts. I don't expect anything out of him probably ever. If he contributes, if he gets on the field, great. That's awesome. That's a win. I know Iowa fans were real set that he would show up there. Dad's an Iowa legacy. Went to visit Iowa twice during his recruitment,
Really? Ooh,
um, and still picked the Huskers. So if he never sniffs the field, I think that's a win in and of itself,
true.
just
Like
for
you
this
said, we're
one
kind of
moment.
playing with house money here. If he works out, great. If he doesn't, we still have 2 or 3 other guys that are solid. But
And looking ahead at UTEP again, last thing before we kind of get into our games that we have set up here. Outside of Dylan Raiola, what are you looking forward to the most?
seeing how the running back room plays out, I
Yeah.
there's 4 oars by running back one, so who knows how that's going to look.
Um, I'm excited to see the receivers, Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nair, how they fit into the offense. Um, yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited for. I mean, you could make a case for. I'm very curious to see what the linebackers are going to look like, and how we're actually going to use Gifford. Um, yeah, I think the wide receivers. So
Yeah, I think top of the list for me is I would love for Ramir and Emmett Johnson to go off and kind of solidify them as the 1-2 workhorse. If nothing else, just to have a backfield Johnson and Johnson. I think that'd be fun. I also think with the way that UTEP is going to want to play, it's going to give Vincent Shavers a lot of opportunities out there, and I think that'll be really fun to watch. See
yes,
him get
yeah,
after it and see him try to make some plays.
Dude, he was someone that they're raving about in camp. So the fact that he's on the 2 deep as a true freshman, right,
Yeah.
is crazy.
first pitch.